The atmosphere at LSU always gets you going. It is second to none, and we are so excited to be with you, Alex Pearlman, former Olympic silver medalist, Bridget Sloan. Bridget, this is going to be a lot of fun. This is an anticipated matchup. You've got Auburn, who is absolutely on the rise. You've got Suni Lee, of course, as part of that, and LSU just always brings it.
Auburn especially, they have some contributors that are just unmatched. You really can't touch them, specifically Darion Goburn. And it's not just her gymnastics that is so impressive, it's her leadership, the way she takes control, and then the addition of Suni Lee, the all-around Olympic champion. I could say that so many times because her ability to bring to the team is just so impressive. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, but we certainly know that LSU doesn't lack in the talent department, do they? They have everything you could want, including the 2021 SEC Specialist of the Year. Last season, Kaya Johnson, but Haley Bryant had one of the best seasons as a freshman ever.
Haley Bryant has done a tremendous job as a freshman, yes, but even this season, she has this demeanor to her where she's a true competitor. She wants to be out there no matter what and contribute with her team. And then Kai Rivers, she's outstanding. She brings so much talent. LSU is full of depth, and this is their opportunity to showcase it.
We are only minutes away from first vault to start this competition between LSU and Auburn. Head over to ESPNU at the top of the hour. Bridget and I will join you there. We'll see you in just a bit for this SEC showdown and a Tiger Tango. For one of the most anticipated matchups of the regular season. It's a resurgent Auburn team led by Olympic all-around gold medalist Suni Lee coming into the Pete Maravich Assembly Center looking to knock off perennial power and national championship contender LSU. Boy, we have been looking forward to this one all season long in this Tiger Tango inside the PMAC. Alex Pearlman, Bridget Sloan along with you, and so is Jeff Graba. He is in his 12th season, a three-time SEC Coach of the Year with Auburn, though he says this is by far his most deep and talented team. One of those reasons, of course, is because of Suni Lee. She was just in her first collegiate all-around last weekend against Alabama, and she absolutely impressed, a 39-7. And we will see her once again competing in the all-around all four events, with an opportunity to maybe score her first 10 as an Auburn Tiger. Jay Clark, only his second year as the head coach of LSU, but he's previously the associate head coach under legendary Coach D.D. Bro since 2012, where he was four-time National Assistant Coach of the Year. Bridget, there is no question that Auburn is kind of the new show in town. They've got all the buzz, the social media buzz. Matt James was at Auburn, Alabama, the Bachelor from a year ago. But there's no question that LSU used to have that role. They want to have it once again. Baton Rouge is LSU gymnastics, isn't it?
Absolutely. And when we talked to Jay Clark earlier this week, he said that they've had a lot of challenges in this season. They ramp up and then it seems like they get the rug pulled out from under them before they can really get that going. So they're really excited for today to get that momentum going for the rest of season.
So here's how it works in NCAA gymnastics. Certainly different than the Olympics that I'm sure you've seen time and time again. 6 gymnasts per team competing in all 4 events. The best 5 scores count, and the lowest is dropped. So if there's a fall on one apparatus, it is not the end of the world for either team. The team with the highest cumulative score wins, and the home order for LSU is what's known as the Olympic order: vault, bars, beam, and then floor, which, Bridget, gives you just a little bit of an advantage, especially for a team like LSU that can really light it up on floor, because they have a little bit of a different lineup as well. You insert Kaya Johnson, Haley Bryant back in. They've dealt with some injuries. Now they're ready to go, and we're about to see what LSU is truly made of this meet.
We definitely are, but you can't count Auburn out just because they're starting on bars, traveling to vault. They're going to end on balance beam, which is an event that really, it can take some people down with it. And Auburn has done an excellent job so far season, getting that exposure. When we talked to Jeff Graba, he even mentioned it's something we're not quite used to, but it's so well deserved. Auburn is on the rise. They have the talent, they have the gymnastics to prove it, and this is their time to shine.
In that showdown against Alabama, coming off of a 197-525, their second highest score in program history and third win over their rivals in the last 4 tries. They are vaulting up the leaderboard as well. Look at the rankings, 5th on beam, so that's something to keep in mind. Once we get down to the nitty-gritty towards the end, if this meet is really close, that could be an area of strength for Jeff Graba and the Tigers.
Absolutely, and something that they have been focusing on in practice, and something that they have been focusing on all the time.
Still warming things up here inside the Pete Maravich Assembly Center as Darian Goborn and the rest of her team looks on. Bridget, what's it like to compete here? You did it so many times as a member of the Florida Gators.
I have spent many days in that arena, and it's exciting. Competing, it's a rivalry. Every single meet against SEC teams is a rivalry in the best way possible. It's an experience, but it's a time for these athletes to really take that next step, to take that step to getting the confidence and realizing that no matter what, they can do it. And this is a great opportunity for Auburn to be in front of these fans.
All right, let's get this show going, shall we? LSU will start things off on vault, where it is the 7th team in the nation. Though remember the caveat, because of COVID restrictions, 2 straight weeks, they have only competed in 2 meets this year. Once against Centenary and once against Georgia. And the Centenary meet was supposed to be West Virginia, and that ended up getting rearranged a couple of times. So for LSU, we are getting set with the same lineup as last week for them, coming off of a 49-1-5 last week.
Tiger fans, it's time for Friday Night Heights on
And here we go, Bridget. This should be really fun. So strap things in. Elena Arenas to start things off on vault for LSU. So a late switch. It was supposed to be Kai Rivers in that spot, but Arenas will come out and start things off. Arenas is the 2021 SEC Vault champion, so it's not like you lose much when you throw her out there.
And she is going to start the momentum for this LSU team. And a nice Yurchenko roll. Great amplitude off the vault. She took that step. Really, that's going to be the biggest deduction, but a very nice, solid start. Take one more look here. Excellent body position. Nice controlled landing, and she took that step. That's a 9.95 start value, but ultimately a very nice start.
All right, so we are off and running, and now here for Auburn, 11th in the nation on bars. It is Drew Watson. They dropped her 9.775 in the leadoff spot last week, but she's a 3-time All-SEC member, and they're working on this grad student from Tyler, Texas, trying to get her to begin this rotation the right way for the Tigers from Auburn.
Drew swinging so smoothly right now. Nice transition to the low bar, right back up to the high bar. little short on that Cass Hansen, not on top of the bar where those judges are looking, but a nice step dismount. Drew is a seasoned competitor. She's a veteran for this Auburn team, and having her in that leadoff position, I'm sure Jeff Graba and his team know she can hit, and she does.
Good start right there for Auburn. We'll see the score coming in for Drew Watson. Elena Arenas began things with a 9.85 for LSU on vault. And now here is Kai Rivers. She was just shifted down one in the lineup. The junior from Detroit, Kai, a 9.85. She was in the leadoff spot last week. Missed all of 2021 with an Achilles injury, but she is back and healthy now.
This is a big moment for her. Tried for that landing, almost a little too much. You saw her flail her arms out, a little under-rotated, taking that step forward. The judges will take off for that. But before that landing, that was an excellent vault. Great height, her body position throughout. You see her hips are going to be completely open, and right there, she flailed her arms out, just trying a little too hard to get that stuck landing.
And following up Drew Watson's 9.75, they'll hope to drop that with Adeline Sabados, who didn't compete last week or the week before, but she was inserted back into the lineup. She's gone as high as a 9.85 3 times in her Auburn career.
Huge Ray. Nice control into her bail. Little loose in her body position. And a double layout. I'm gonna say she didn't get the stuck landing there, but very clean, very smooth. Just some minor breaks throughout. But the first skill she does, array, it was huge. And take another look at this dismount. This is where the judges are gonna take off. Double layup. See, she scoots her feet right there. So close to getting that stuck landing.
And now KJ Johnson, the freshman from Dallas, competing one of the few Yurchenko fulls that we'll see out of this LSU lineup, which means a 9.95 starting value. 9.85 last week for her.
And that was about as good as you can do. The amplitude off the vault that she gets so high, so far from the vault. That's what the judges are looking for. How high and how far are these athletes getting from the vault? You're gonna see her body position keeps that laid out position the whole time and just scoots her feet back a little bit on that landing.
All right, so the score comes in on Auburn for bars with Sabados, 9.775. Not exactly the start that I'm sure Auburn head coach Jeff Graba wanted, but maybe now Stevens can make up for it.
Stevens is great on this event. She's gonna do toe on, toe off, right into array.
Wow, that vault for KJ Johnson, 9.9.
And the dismount double layout. Not quite the sticks. They're doing such a great job of controlling their landings, but they're taking those scoots backwards. Those are where the deductions are happening. Very smooth overall. Cassie has done a fabulous job getting in these lineups, and head coach Jeff Graba has been so impressed with just the determination she has to solidify her spot in these lineups.
Jeff said this year, it's still a roller coaster since bringing on the Olympic all-around gold medalist, the first time we've ever had one of those in college gymnastics. But all the support has really been amazing.
And that was the first Yurchenko 1.5. Really a little bit short there. She just lacked the rotation. Saves it by staying on her feet, but all those steps are going to be deductions.
And so they will hope to drop that score from Sarah Edwards, fifth-year gymnast from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Cassie Stevens did bounce back quite nicely on bars for Auburn with that 9.85. And now here's Aria Brush. She has not scored anything below a 9.8 this year. Brush, a real mainstay in multiple lineups for Jeff Graven, even with the competition being as fierce as it is at this moment.
Beautiful cast handstand. Aria is so dynamic on this event. Just floats on that double layout, finds the landing. That was excellent.
And so at the moment, looking to still drop Drew Watson's 9.75 on bars at that leadoff score. And remember, these are two very evenly matched programs. It could come down to tenths, hundredths of tenths. One step on a landing could decide things. So yes, there's a lot of pressure on these gymnasts, but remember, there's a lot of room to make up things as well as we get further and further along into this meet. We'll kind of see where everybody stands. Now Kaya Johnson, an All-American on vault last year. She's competing all around for the first time this season today.
And a massive Yurchenko double fold, 10-0 start value, hop on the landing. But what she does so well is she sees her landing every time. This is a very difficult vault. Round off back handspring, 2 twists. This is a great angle to see. Her shoulders are a little low. That's why she takes the hop forward, but she is so experienced, she stands it right up, saluting to those judges.
Talk about experience, you can't really have much more than this senior, Darian Gobert. Our first look at her 2020 All-American on the bars. Watch for her pirouettes. They're looking to try to just minimize deductions here is what Jeff Graven told us.
Fabulous sequence right there, the half pirouette. She just is a little bit over the bar, not showing that handstand. And a huge dismount, holds that landing, shows those judges no deductions here.
And that was the momentum that Darian was looking for to get Auburn right back in it.
Holds her handstands well on top of the high bar. This dismount, half in, half out, holds the landing. You see that expression, I got this.
Haley Bryant now looking to drop the 9.675 from Sarah Edwards.
And no doubt, incredible.
Bryant. Jody has 2 perfect 10 on vault in her career. Bridget, did she just get 3?
I'm gonna say yes. Front handspring, front pike with a half. I mean, this is excellence right here. So much height, sees the landing. I don't know where you're gonna take a deduction. That was fabulous.
That's perfection in motion right there. They're calling for the 10 here at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. Will they give it to her? And Suni Lee waiting to make her debut today. It's a 10 for Haley Bryant.
If there's any athlete from Auburn that you want up next on uneven bars that can handle pressure, it is freshman Suni Lee.
She has dealt with the pressure of world championships, the pressure of the Olympics, trying to win a gold medal in the all-around individually. So you know that that's not going to get to her. And let's see what Lee can do. 9.925 in the anchor spot last week, starting off her all-around day.
So smooth on all of her transitions, holds her handstands. That was amazing. Truly incredible. One thing you notice, she only does 2 cast handstands in that entire bar routine because she connects every single skill. Handstands are where the deductions normally tend to happen on uneven bars. What does Suni do? Well, just connect everything. No problem.
Well, let's also remember that she won the Olympic bronze on bars. That is certainly one of her specialties. And she almost got a 10 on beam against Alabama as well. So that is a great start for her to begin things.
For the uneven bars, Tigers, Sunny Lee. 10-0.
Welcome to Baton Rouge inside the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. One rotation in the books between number 6 Auburn and 8th ranked LSU. Alex Perlman, Olympic silver medalist, Bridget Sloan along with you. And we have already begun things with a bang. To anchor things, Haley Bryant on vault with a 10. And Suni Lee just got her first 10 in college just now on the bars. Wow, what a meet we've had so far, Bridget.
This is exactly what we want it to be. It's gonna come down to the last routine here. And these athletes are showcasing they want it. They want to win and they have the talent to do that. I mean, this is incredible so far, and we're only at event number 2.
I mean, we knew this meet would be good. I don't know if we thought it would be 2 10s in the first rotation good. Let's see Bryant's 3rd of her career.
I don't know if she would have gotten anything but a 10 on that vault. I mean, that is a perfectly executed, that's textbook.
And how about the pressure on you to step up like Suni Lee just did and nab her first collegiate 10?
I mean, she is beautiful. She's a gorgeous gymnast, but on uneven bars, that is where she shines. Finds the landing. Again, another textbook routine from Suni Lee.
Just the way to begin things here in one of the most electric arenas, not only in the SEC, in the country, and a real test for the Auburn Tigers, who absolutely, Bridget, are kind of like the new show in town. They've got all the social media buzz. Matt James, the Bachelor, was there at their meet against Alabama in Auburn last week. But LSU's got all that talent, they've got all that history, and that's why this sets up as a terrific afternoon of collegiate gymnastics.
Absolutely. Both teams bring so much to the floor. And you mentioned Auburn getting all of this exposure, so well deserved. And head coach Jeff Graba has mentioned multiple times, it's something we're not quite used to, but we love it. I mean, you have to say, wow, when you watch Auburn.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. LSU, of course, has the reigning 2021 Specialist of the Year in Kaya Johnson. She has been dealing with a little bit of injury, but she is back in the all-around today. So is Haley Bryant, who just stuck that vault for a 10. This sets up as potentially one of the best meets of the regular season right now.
Oh, for sure. In LSU, they've had a little slower start. A lot of challenges when it comes to scheduling. That is something that when we talked to head coach Jay Clark, he said it's like we ramp up and then we're ready to go and then the rug gets pulled out from under us. But one thing that he did mention, it's given them time to get healthy, which is so important.
2 meets postponed for LSU because of COVID concerns. Jeff Graba, the 3-time SEC Coach of the Year. He's in his 12th season on the Plains. He told us this is by far his most deep and talented team, and we are seeing why. The athletes like Darian Goburn, who of course has been here for 4 years now, but you add in a Suni Lee. We haven't seen Sophia Groth yet. She is a terrific freshman that will be competing today as well. I would not be surprised to see Auburn, who is coming off of a 197.525, their second highest score in program history. At some point, the Tigers may breach that 198 mark. Maybe it is today. We'll just have to see.
I think it definitely might be. Auburn capable of so much. And when you talk about Jeff Graba having talent on the team that he's not used to, what a good problem to have. I'm not exactly sure who I'm going to put in the lineup. That's a good thing as a head coach, but it is something that he said, it's a little tricky. You know, we want these athletes to tell us, to make us change the lineups. We do not want to solidify, and he was very stern when telling us he doesn't want to solidify lineups right now. And so far, his athletes are proving to him we want in these lineups.
And look at the score right now between Auburn and LSU, just 25/10 separating these two Tigers. We talked about the 10 on vault, the 10 on bars. Off to a flying start here between these two teams, and Auburn certainly wants to, in some ways, make some history. LSU has dominated this rivalry throughout, but they're off to their highest ranking since also being number 6 in 2016, trying to beat LSU for the first time in the last 7 tries. It is certainly possible, but let's also remember that LSU is trying to come off of a very tough time, missing 2 straight weeks. You go and compete at Georgia. Pretty good meet, certainly not up to Jay Clark's standards that he wants to see by the end of things with a 196.85, but number 8 at this point in the season, you know, when you've dealt with all those hardships, you really have to give LSU a lot of credit so far.
You do, and it's so early in the season, and that's something that I think we sometimes forget because we work from meet to meet, week to week, but it is so early. We're just into February. They've still got a lot of season ahead of them, and this is an opportunity to really showcase the depth that they have that they might not have been able to the first couple weeks.
So we wait on rotation number 2. It's Olympic order for LSU, which means they start on vault, they'll go to bars, and then finish things up on beam and floor exercise. Auburn will go to the vault where they're 8th in the nation, but here's where LSU might be able to separate themselves from the visiting Tigers. They're 3rd in the nation, 49.425 average. It is their best event, and remember, all of this is out of 50. You have a top score of 50 for each rotation. So you talk about only, you know, 575 shaved off. That's pretty darn good, and that's a score that you're really looking for.
Absolutely. Jay has done a tremendous job with LSU on uneven bars. That is why they are ranked so high. I mean, he has changed the culture on uneven bars. And as a former athlete, there is a different culture on each event because there's going to be a different coach on each event, and Jay has really done an excellent job of picking his top 6. And right now, he's even got 8 to 10 athletes that he could put in. And he even said, he's like, I got a lot of talent. Don't want to pat myself on the back, but there's so much talent that he has, and it's hard to navigate just who to put in these lineups.
It's almost like Jay Clark is a great recruiter.
He's not bad. I would have to say he's a great recruiter. He did recruit me to go to Georgia. I did go to Florida, but he was very good.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best. 4-time National Assistant Coach of the Year before he took over for Dede Bro. Now you're number 2. Here's Tara Walsh to start things off on vault for Auburn.
And a Yurchenko full, just a pike down on the landing. You want to see these athletes on these Yurchenko twisting vaults hold their hips completely open. Just a pike down, but again, you don't want your superstar athlete to start. What you want is a solid start. You want an athlete that you can depend on, and she did an excellent job there starting for Auburn.
All right, here we go. Kaya Johnson back in the driver's seat. 9-9 in the leadoff spot on bars last week. Again, the reigning SEC Specialist of the Year. She needs a 10 to complete the Gym Slam, which is a perfect 10 on every apparatus. We're going to be on 10 watch on bars all season long for Kaya.
Just the hop on the landing. Will not see a 10 from that routine, but what a start. Excellent sequence. Maloney, immediate bail, and just the dismount with the double layout. Really, the biggest seduction was the hop on the landing.
Well, we've already seen 210s, so I think we've hit the quota in rotation number 1. And now here is Sophia Groth, who we mentioned just a few moments ago. She's vaulted every meet this year, and nothing for her below a 9.825 so far.
And a stuck Yurchenko full. Wow. That was
Your
an
Chenko full
excellent
does
job.
not hurt you, Bridget, if you stick it.
Not at all. And she does a great job holding her body position, great height off the vault, finds that landing, and I love the expression when she sticks it.
Her career high is a 9.875. That could easily surpass the mark. Following up Tara Walsh's 9.825, which is a really solid start for them on vault. And now Kai Rivers, who tied her career high with a 9.9 last week.
Maloney right back down to the low bar in her bail, keeps those legs glued together. Huge to
Did
catch
set
it.
a new career high with that 9.9.
And a double layout to top off that routine, just the hop on the landing. And you can tell LSU, they're fighting for those stuck landings, but right now they're trying a little too hard. They're trying a little too hard there, and they just need to do exactly what they do in practice, which head coach Jay Clark even said they're so relaxed in practice. Then they get to the meet sometimes and they're a little tense. Just need to let it happen. They're capable of amazing things.
And now Suni Lee coming off of her first career 10. She had a 9.875 in her first collegiate vault last week. Are there roots?
No, there really aren't. Stuck, Yurchenko full. Excellent execution. Great body position. Holds that landing. That was excellent.
And this is kind of exactly what we hoped for when we knew that Suni Lee was indeed going to be able to come to college. Livy Dunn now, All-American on bars last year. She's kind of the poster child when we talked about the new NIL rules. She signed almost a six-figure deal with Vuori. Almost 6 million followers on TikTok and Instagram, really taking advantage of everything. It's great to see.
And doing a great job on uneven bars. A nice stuck landing, but just a few breaks in her body position throughout that routine.
She's following up the 9.75 from Kai Rivers. So 9.8, 9.75 for LSU on bars. Vault for Auburn has already seen back-to-back 9.9s. Suni Lee and Sophia Grote resetting their career highs, the freshmen.
And Livy starts things off with a sequence here. She's gonna go to Tkachev, immediate pack, just a little loose in her legs.
Sarah Hubbard, another freshman now.
Little under-rotated on that vault. You saw her take her step backwards. That is a 10-0 start value for Auburn. Yurchenko 1.5. Just needs to get a few more vaults under her belt to gain that confidence and get that power.
Score comes in for Livy Dunn at 9.825. Still haven't seen a 9.85 or better, but maybe it comes from Haley Bryan, who had a 9.9 last week. This is the reigning SEC Freshman of the Year, and we will finally get to see her in the all-around today. At least that is what is expected. Of course, you can always get some late adjustments that we have seen throughout the season.
So far, this is gorgeous. Legs together, aggressive on those cast handstands, and a big dismount. Wasn't quite ready for that landing. You saw her take that step forward, but before that dismount, that was beautiful. Legs glued together. She does a great job on all her transitions, all her release moves, and this dismount, so difficult. Blind change into a double front with a half, so high. She gets so much height on that dismount and just wasn't ready for that landing.
And now here's Drew Watson. One of the members of this team that could be described as the heart and soul, the grad student.
Fantastic. Drew has been working on getting this vault landing down, trying a few new things. She even mentioned earlier that she was trying so hard to get the stick, and then now she tried to go a little bit above that. And you see right here, round off, back handspring, 1.5 twist. Just a slight hop on the landing, but overall really nice. If I'm being super picky, which the judges normally are, little bit of a leg deduction.
And so off of Haley Bryant's 9.85, Ilona Shenikova. This is her specialty. She was an All-American on bars last year. Again, trying to drop Kai Rivers' 9.75.
Anna's absolutely fantastic on this event. And you see why. I mean, she's a beautiful bar swinger. Catches her release moves with full extension, making her transition so smooth. Wow.
So Shenikova puts in a great routine there, and now it's up to Darian Goburn.
And now, the vault anchor.
2019 national champion on vault. It was the first national champion in school history. But looking for her first 9.9 of the year, following up 3 9.9s in this for Growth, Lee, and Watson.
This is a 10-0 start value. Yurchenko 1.5. So what is so impressive about what she just did, she was a little under-rotated. Didn't quite have the height off the block that those judges are looking for, but she is so skilled that she covered it up. That was very, very impressive by Darian Goburn. Wow.
She gets to wear the shades because of it. Now Sammy Durante to close this out in rotation 2. 9.925 just came in for Shenikova. Durante fell the meet before Georgia, but bounced back with a 9.825 last week.
Excellent job so far. Aggressive, great amplitude on all of her release moves. And sticks that landing, holds it. Excellent job for Sammy. Bouncing right back.
We have seen great gymnastics all across the board here so far, with 2 rotations now in the books. Shenikova put together a 9.925. We're waiting on Durante's score. Goburn with a 9.95 on vault for Auburn. So it is still razor thin. It was only 25 hundredths of a tenth. And coming in, and it was just incredible to see here between these 2 Tigers programs, Auburn and LSU, dueling things out here at the PMAC. And we are joined by head coach for Auburn, Jeff Graba. Jeff, 2 rotations down. The highlight so far, of course, Suni's first collegiate 10. What'd you see?
I saw 10. It's a lot of fun. And you know, we know she's been working towards this. This is part of the plan, and I think it's the first 10 in over 30 years for Auburn. So we're really excited.
And Jeff, you're heading into floor exercise. What are you telling your team? You hear the crowd around you. What are you telling your team going into such an amazing event for you guys?
Yeah, well, we got to get better at what we're trying to do. Each girl has an individual thing they're trying to improve, and what we want is them to accomplish that tonight. And in this environment, that's going to be a challenge, but that's the goal. Do really well in a difficult environment.
Jeff, thank you so much. Appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me.
What a start we have so far. Auburn just barely ahead of LSU. It is only by 75 thousandths of a point. But when we come back, Bridget gets a chance to catch up with 2019 vault champion Darian Goburn for Auburn to learn her goals for the upcoming year. The third rotation almost upon us. A razor-thin margin right now with Auburn leading LSU just 75 thousandths of a point. Still to come, the floor queen herself. You do not want to miss Darion Goburn in the anchor spot on floor. And then for LSU, the ultra-reliable Christina Desiderio. We'll see her on beam to lead things off for the other Tigers. What a meet it is so far in Baton Rouge. On ESPN. Inside the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, Alex Perlman, Bridget Sloan back with you. Rotation 3 on its way with Auburn moving to floor, LSU to beam. This has been quite the meet so far. Both teams on a great pace for potential 197s or higher. Maybe a 198 depending on how they do in the final two rotations, but we shall see. For LSU on beam, Christina Desiderio, the grad student that is, from New Jersey. She had 9-9 in the leadoff spot last week.
Starts things with a gorgeous switch leap into switch side. A very nice handspring layout step out. Christina is fabulous on beam, and she is a true leadoff for LSU. This spot is hers, and she is almost a guaranteed hit every time. So confident in her movements.
LSU on beam, 10th in the nation this year. They're adding Haley Bryant back in. She's on the lineup for Loda Shenikova, so that gives them a little bit more firepower as well.
And a amazing start for LSU. That is what you want. You want your leadoff to be confident in themselves and know they can hit, and she does it every time. Series here, handspring layout, step out. Aggressive with her finishes and finishes with a gainer full off the beam, getting that stuff landing.
All right, for Auburn on floor now, 9th floor team in the nation. They had a season-high 49-5-5 last week against Alabama, which was their best event score, and it cemented the win being at home. Cassie Stevens will get us going.
A nice combination pass to start things off. That was a front layout into a 1.5 twist.
Cassie a 9.875 in the leadoff spot last week. Has now competed floor 4 of the 5 meets this year. Score in for Christina Desiderio, starting things off with a 9.925 for LSU on beam.
Cassie is one of the athletes that Jeff has been so impressed with. Putting her in the lineup, she's a beautiful athlete when she competes and is doing a fabulous job. And if you did notice, there was a little error with the music.
A little one.
Little error with the music.
stopped.
It did stop, but you have to keep going. And that is a true testament to her as a performer. No matter what, she keeps going. And she hit a beautiful set.
That was incredible. Absolutely incredible. When you lose the music, to still have that mindset. I mean, Bridget, what is it like to try to do that out there?
It really can throw you off. I mean, you're expecting your music because you're expecting that rhythm and beat, and then when it's gone, it's kind of like, oh no. But you have to just keep going and do exactly what Cassie Stevens just did.
And she can't get another shot at that, correct? She gets one shot no matter if the music goes out.
Correct.
Wow. Sammy Durante now. It's back-to-back grad students to begin things for LSU. Had a 9.775 in her season debut last week, again following up Desiderio's 9.925. It's only 3/4 of a tenth difference coming into this rotation between LSU and Auburn, with the Auburn Tigers leading the LSU Tigers.
And Sammy with a very smooth front aerial into back handspring, back handspring.
We saw Cassie Stevens equaling her 9.875 from a week ago on floor for Auburn. But a little bit of a gain right there for LSU.
And
You can kind of now in
Sammy,
the third rotation, Bridget, you can really start to compare routines and say, where are they going to get that 3/4 of a tenth back? Well, there's one place they could do it on being for LSU.
absolutely. And Sammy doing a flawless job. It's going to go back and forth here, I think.
Coming up over on ESPN, our day of rivalry games rolls on with what could be the best of them all. It's 9th-ranked Duke and Carolina at the Dean Dome. Coach K's final visit as the Blue Devil coach at 8 Eastern. Number 5 Kentucky taking on Alabama as well in prime time. Now Aria Brush, who is really, according to Jeff Grabus, stepped into more of a leadership role this year. Going from sophomore to junior, Bridget, can be a big change. Now stepped out, though, there on floor.
These athletes are going to do incredible tumbling, but the goal is to stay in between those lines. She did step out of bounds. That will be a 10th of a deduction for this final score for Aria.
But remember, in college gymnastics, 6 gymnasts perform. 1 score can be dropped, and maybe Auburn will need it to be this one for Aria. But again, only a 10th deduction. Sammy Durante on beam for LSU, followed up Desiderio with a 9.85. With Haley Bryant to come next.
Final pass for Aria, round off back handspring, double pike, sticks the landing. No problems there on that last pass. She almost had a little too much juice in the beginning with that first pass, front step out to double back, but finishes with a very nice round off back handspring, double pike. Great air awareness, knows where she is to get that stuck landing.
And so we'll wait on the score for Brush, following up Cassie Stevens' 9.875 to start things off. Haley Bryant, who did not compete on beam last week, but coming off one of the best freshman seasons in LSU history. The SEC Freshman of the Year, and only the second Tiger to win a national championship as a freshman. The other one you'll certainly recognize, Kennedy Edney.
A combination there, front aerial to back handspring. Nice leap connection. This is a moment for Haley to get that confidence. Balance beam is all about being cool, calm, and collected. It's 4 inches wide. And these athletes are doing some big skills. A little balance check there on that front tuck. Foot did come off the beam.
Aria Brush 9-7 on floor. I am sure Jeff Grable will want that one dropped.
Haley Bryant.
Stuck front
For the
Rudy
Tigers.
off the beam. That is a 1.5 twist.
4 on base.
Coming back from injury, that's a big moment to get back in this beam lineup and do a really, really great job. Caps it off here.
Next on floor.
Known as a Rudy, which is a front 1.5 twist. Sees that landing and gets the stick.
And Haley dealing with partially torn plantar fascia, which is just a foot injury. But it has hampered her at the beginning of the season. They're hoping to manage that, and then maybe she's good to go after getting a couple of weeks off before Georgia, thanks to COVID. Sophia Groth set a new career high with a 9-9 last week for Auburn.
And a front double twist E element for Sophia to start things off.
Pressure's on though, Bridget, after seeing that 9-7 in the 2 spot for Aria Brush. And you know, they've got, after Groth, Watson, Lee, Gober. It's not like you don't have the type of athletes that can all really hit and put up big scores.
These athletes fuel from pressure. No pressure, no diamonds. That's all I'm going to say.
Sounds like you've been through something like that before in your life.
Once or twice. Final pass for Sophia. Front handspring, 1.5 twist. Gets right to that lunge. And it looks like another air with the music, and you notice she keeps going.
Wow.
Not
I'm not
sure
sure I've
what's...
ever seen anything like this before.
Yeah, and technical difficulties, as some would say, with the music, and that is so important. But these athletes, they're moving through it as if there's nothing wrong.
I mean, the thing that, you know, is on everybody's mind, twice in one rotation, that's twice in 3 gymnasts that we have seen that.
The show must go on.
Lack of hurt in, yeah, I suppose so. I mean, that's what Auburn is doing, but I would imagine they're going to have some gripes after this floor rotation. Now Aaliyah Finnegan. You recognize that last name. Her sister Sarah, arguably the best gymnast in LSU history, a 2-time national champion, the AAI award winner in 2019.
Aaliyah back handspring, layout, step out. Gets right to her finish position.
And Sophia Groth's score comes in at a 9-9, not letting anything affect her. They can still drop the 9-7 from Aria Brush. Nothing below a 9.85 right now for LSU on beam. That was Durante.
A front aerial right over the top of the beam. Just the dismount, back handspring, 1.5 twist. Just the hop on the landing, but overall, very clean, very precise with her movements. Even when Aaliyah has a balance check, she covers it so well because of her experience that she has come into LSU with. Right here, back handspring, 1.5 twist. Just a little under-rotated, takes a slight hop backwards, but overall, very nice job for Aaliyah Finnegan.
And now the experienced Drew Watson. Also a caveat, you see the scores on the bottom right of your screen. The last score, well, we won't know what the actual rotation score is until the last routine because the lowest score is dropped. So not 100% accurate, take it with a grain of salt, but kind of keeping track in your mind of what kind of scores are coming in and maybe what differential is being built up and made up.
And you
She was
saw
right
the
on the
judges,
corner right there, yep.
saw the judge's hand go up. She did go out of bounds on a very massive Arabian double front.
Definitely a little bit of a surprise for this Auburn team. Again, coming off of a season-high 49.55 last week on the floor. But this is not an easy place to compete for anybody.
A little off on her jumps there, covers it with her dance. Looks like she's a little rushed, not really feeling the music and feeling the movements, which is what we're used to seeing from Drew.
Yeah, you would categorize this floor routine as maybe a little bit more of a grind.
Yeah.
Music cut
Last
out one last
pass.
time. Nailed it.
Definitely gonna have to check what's going on with the music here. Cut out again, but as we've seen from athletes before, keep going, keep that routine going and finish strong, and Drew did just that.
They may just be having some technical issues with the equipment. And so now Bridget Dean coming off of that 9-9 from Aaliyah Finnegan. They've got 9-9-2-5, 9-8-5, 9-8-7-5, and 9-9 from Finnegan. So a very good beam rotation right now for LSU. Dean, who has competed on beam every meet last now 4 years.
Side aerial, back handspring, very difficult combination. Have to be completely square, which Bridget was not, and unfortunately had to take the fall.
But not all lost, because they're going to have to count Drew Watson's 9.725, Auburn that is. And then again on beam for LSU, there's nothing below a 9.85 at the moment. So if Kaya Johnson can hit coming up, this score very well could be dropped.
And the dismount for Bridget. Side aerial, back fold, gets the stuck landing, not the routine she wanted. And we're gonna take a look one more time where the fall happened. This is a side aerial, back handspring. She has to be completely square. And you saw that right shoulder drop in the back handspring. She just couldn't keep it on the beam, but finishes very nicely with a side aerial back fold and gets the stick.
And now here is Suni Lee, just her second floor routine at Auburn with a 9.925 last week. Let's see how she can back up her all-around day. First time she's ever competed that. Last week a 39.7 in the all-around. She was the SEC Freshman of the Year. Her first collegiate 10 just came.
And a huge double layout, sticks the landing, gets right to her lunge.
And you talk about 10s for Olympians this week. Jordan Childs, Grace McCallum, Suni Lee. Pressure's on Jade Carey coming up a little bit later for Oregon State.
And Suni's artistry is just excellent. Judges are not only looking for the big tumbling, but the artistry. Suni showcasing both in her combination, 1.5 to front full. Very nice job for Suni. If you notice, the floor music did continue till the very end, so they're getting their mojo back, but Suni doing an excellent job.
Jeff Graber telling us that she is just really settling in. And we spoke with Suni before the meet. She said that she's feeling like she's starting to get her love for the sport back again. And how important that is. Bridget, you kind of went through the same thing.
I went through the exact same thing, and there are so many athletes who have, and it's about it's a different love for gymnastics that you're able to find in college, and I'm so happy for Suni being able to do that.
So now Kaya Johnson, they are hoping to drop her 9.275 and finish off a large beam routine score.
Nice control, full turn.
Suni Lee score posting a 9.95. There it is. Kaya had a 9.9 in the anchor spot last week, an All-American on beam.
Nice combination there. You saw switch lead into her jump. Very aggressive front toss. You saw those arms get right to her finishing position.
We're looking at something like, if she can finish this dismount off, something like a 39.4 or 5 on beam for LSU this rotation.
Back handspring, 1.5, just the step on the landing.
Kaya
Wow,
Johnson
great job
for LSU.
For Kaya. Anchoring for LSU on balance beam. You know, Jay Clark talks about how impressive she is in the gym, but she's not just a competitor. I mean, she's a leader. She is a born leader for this LSU team and has done a fabulous job this season so far.
Remember, it was 3/4 of a tenth, the lead for Auburn over LSU going into the third rotation, and only one left here on floor. It is the queen, Darian Gober.
Alex, she makes our job so easy. We just sit back and watch because she is fabulous on this event.
Her routine is so good that Missy Elliott heard of it and even followed her on social media.
Opens with a huge open double tuck.
So that score come in for Kaya Johnson on beam for LSU. 9.9. So they will drop the 9.275 for Bridget Dean.
Front layout, just, she knows exactly where she is. She's like a cat. She just finds her landings no matter what.
She's a performer in every sense of the word. Brothers, an actor and dancer, choreographed her routines as well.
That was incredible.
But it's never over until the crown goes on, Bridget.
You are so right, and there it is. Everyone, do not forget to put your crown on every day. Darian showcasing not only is she a performer with her artistry, but her talent and her tumbling, sky-high tumbling, finds those landings. I mean, that is a true performer.
And so finishing up this rotation on floor for Auburn, we await the final score. It was a 49.45. A huge bounce back for LSU, who is trying to cut into that bit of a lead of 3/4 of a tenth. They still have floor to come, which is traditionally, of course, a very good event for LSU. We're joined by the Tigers head coach Jay Clark. All right, Jay, 3 rotations in the books. What have you seen? I mean, this is a real chance for your team to compete in this great environment after those COVID cancellations.
Yeah, I just think we got a little tight early, and I was glad to see them settle down on balance beam. They finally kind of hit their stride a little bit and did what we typically see them doing in the gym. We think we were trying a little bit on bars a little bit and gave away a little bit. But what a great atmosphere in here today with all these fans and just a great Saturday for gymnastics.
And Jay, you're headed into the 4th rotation, floor exercise. Everyone knows that the PMAC goes crazy for the LSU Tigers on floor. What do you want to see from your team?
Well, I just told them, I said, I want you guys to perform. Come out of your face. Let's really perform. Let's go big. Let's not hold back on anything else. And we've got a couple of new routines going in there tonight that we're excited about, so hopefully we'll be able to close this thing out.
Jay, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, still 1 rotation to go, but we have already seen the best gymnastics that you can ask for in college. 10s, 2 of them. The first one, Haley Bryant for LSU. Absolutely sticking it, Bridget. And then the reigning Olympic all-around gold medalist got her first.
And this is a big moment for Suni. Your first 10 on an away knee. I mean, she is absolutely fabulous on uneven bars. She's fabulous as an all-arounder. Just an impressive athlete.
We are tied after 3 rotations in this Tiger Tango in Baton Rouge. You don't want to miss the finish. LSU to floor, Auburn to beam in the PMAC. What a great slate of meets we have coming for you. A triple header on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. LSU, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and then Auburn right back in action to face number 11 Missouri. Though, Bridget, they're going to be much higher than that with the night that the Tigers put together against Florida. The SEC is unbelievable this year so far.
It just makes me so excited for postseason and for NCAAs, because you are not only seeing the best of the best NCAA gymnastics right now, but the best of elite and world and Olympic, and that is just amazing.
And remember, before each meet, check out Before the Heights on the ESPN app. You can see pre-meet activities and introductions. Experience the atmosphere. There's some of the best college venues in the country. Before the Heights, available on the ESPN app approximately 15 minutes before the start of the meet telecast. Just search gymnastics in the app. 4th rotation to come. We are tied 148-2 apiece for both teams. Auburn to beam, LSU to floor. Welcome back to Baton Rouge. Alex Perlman, Bridget Sloan with you for the 4th and final rotation. Here's how it worked. LSU had a tiny lead after 1 rotation. Auburn grabbed it right back on vault with a 49-4-7-5. And then after 3, we are tied. LSU with 3 gymnasts, a 9-9 or better on beam. It has really been kind of a seesaw battle here, Bridget, and we knew it would come down to tenths or maybe even hundredths.
That's what makes NCAA gymnastics so exciting, in my opinion.
And now Auburn on beam to start things off. They're tied for 5th in the nation here. They do have an advantage over LSU, at least with how things have gone so far. Hollingsworth, a 9.75 in the leadoff spot last week for the sophomore from Texas.
Nice handspring layout, step out.
The same beam lineup that put up a 49-4-5 last week. Suni Lee will be the last gymnast to go. She had a 9.975 last week. So maybe another 10 even is in store. She's already got 1 today on bars.
Well, Olivia is doing a fabulous job in this leadoff. She's exactly what you want to see. Confident, hits her skills, and gets the stuck landing. What a start for Auburn. Smooth on all of her connections. Just every movement she did in that beam routine, she did it with such ease. Ends it with a side aerial into her back full and gets the stuck landing. She almost looks surprised that she stuck it, but very well deserved leadoff position for Olivia.
Now I'm going to throw a caveat in for LSU. They might be tied for 21st on floor in the nation, But it's a very different lineup this week. Aaliyah Finnegan, Haley Bryant, Kaya Johnson all being added in. That makes a huge difference, and you see them in the 4, 5, and 6 slots.
And Christina starts with a massive double layout.
Desiderio had a 9-7 in the leadoff spot last week. They dropped that score. Or sorry, they had to count that score, I should say, against Georgia. Now you can really start to think about where teams are gaining tenths or hundreds. There's Hollingsworth's first score, 9.875. So if Desiderio does a 9.8, okay, you know they got 3/4 of a tenth right there. Bridget Dean, the ultimate hype woman there in the corner.
And last pass for Christina, double tuck. Gets right to that lunge. I think this routine is going to be a little higher than a 9.875. That was fantastic. Started things off with a huge double layout. Christina does such an awesome job in the leadoff position. It's like she was born for that spot. In these LSU lineups, she's dependable. She's confident in everything she does. You see here, rounded back handspring, double tuck. Awesome. Great start for LSU on floor exercise.
A real tone setter right there for the grad student from New Jersey. And now Aria Brush. 9.85 for her last week. Getting just a few more words of wisdom from her assistant coach, Ashley Priest-Johnson. Desiderio with a 9.925. Okay, a half a tenth lead for LSU at the moment. Bridget, is it actually a disadvantage to be on beam like everybody thinks in the final rotation?
It's not, but beam is, gymnastics in general is very mental, but balance beam especially. You have to stay in your zone, and Jeff Graba even mentioned he wants his athletes to do everything they need to do, their personal goals. They can only control what they do, and Aria doing a fabulous job right now, staying in the zone. She's very smooth and controlled on her movements. People think it's a disadvantage because balance beam is probably one of the hardest events in gymnastics, but these athletes feed off the pressure. They know what's at stake, and they want to win. They want to be on top when this meet is over. And a very nice gainer full. Aria proving that no matter what she's under pressure-wise, she can deliver.
Christina Desiderio, 9.95.
Ends things with a gainer full off the side, great lift off the beam. Twist just a little early. You see she's a little close to that balance beam, but covers it very well, gets right to her finish position, and salutes those judges.
And so a 9.95 on floor for Desiderio to start things off. Now Alona Shenikova. She was inserted back into the lineup, a late addition here. And so far, advantage LSU. Again, it was tied coming into this fourth rotation. And if you think score is all that matters, just talk to Jay Clark. I asked him, what happens if LSU has a successful meet? He says, we win. Sounds obvious. Sometimes you hear about scores and they want a great road score, blah, blah, blah. It's convoluted, but these are competitors at heart.
And they're not just competitors. Darion kind of nailed it on the head. They're performers. I mean, they are showcasing amazing tumbling, but it's the performance side that really puts you that step ahead. And LSU right now, everybody is performing, showing it off in their facial expressions. Big tumbling. That was a front 1.5 to lay out, step out. Excellent job for Alona. Being thrown in the mix last minute, not a problem. LSU wanted to show that they have depth, and they are doing it right now.
And former elite really settling in now. Jay Clark hoping that whatever plagued them on floor is gone with this brand new lineup.
Take a look here. Front 1.5 twist into a layout step out. You saw her front leg come up just a little bit. See if the judges take that as a deduction. But a very solid performance for Alona.
Interested to see with Aria Brush scoring a 9.875. So that score coming in back-to-back for Hollingsworth and Brush, and now Cassie Stevens, who is someone you definitely want up there if you're Auburn. 9.875 for her last week. Shanikova's score was a 9.925. LSU continues to gain here.
And this is when Auburn really needs to remember, stay in your lane. You're on balance beam. You can only control what you do on this balance beam. Don't worry about the crowd, what's going on around you. And Cassie doing a very good job focusing in. You see she's looking at the beam. Eyes are focused.
And there's the Stevens, the skill that's named after her. Lead is 3/4 of a tenth at the moment.
In a round off 1.5. Little hop on the landing, but overall, that was a great routine for Cassie. Solid on all of her landings, very minimal bobbles, balance checks there.
9.925.
And there's Dee Bro, the longtime LSU head coach, and Kim Mulkey make an appearance inside the PMAC, the brand new LSU women's basketball head coach coming over from Baylor. I've seen LSU's arena get like this for women's basketball though too. Men's, the PMAC is nuts for just about every sport that's played inside. KJ Johnson following up a 9.95 and a 9.925. Pressure on the freshman's shoulders.
Front layout. Combination pass for KJ. She is so fierce.
Real consistency for Auburn on beam. 3 straight 9.875s. LSU has topped that though in the first 2 routines on floor.
Final pass for KJ. Round off back handspring, double tuck. Great height and rotation there. The crowd loves it.
KJ!
Really nice job for KJ.
Tigers.
Getting a taste of what it's like to be in this floor lineup consistently. Proving she should be, but take a look. First pass, round up back handspring, open, tuck full in. And finishes with the double tuck. I mean, Jay Clark loves it, and how can you not?
KJ Johnson's first SEC home meet going exactly as planned. And now pressure sitting on Sophia Groth, just a freshman herself. That's going to be a huge score from Johnson. And they're just going to have to hope Auburn is that the Tigers can stay in it here on beam. 3 straight 9.875s and a 9.95 for Johnson. The lead continues to open. It's now 1.5 tenths for LSU.
Well, Sophia's doing a nice job so far on balance beam, showcasing just how smooth she is. Saw a full turn. Required element for these athletes.
Following this, Gabby McLaughlin and Suni Lee. Oh, that is exactly what Auburn needed on beam. This is a freshman right here. This is why the season of NCAA gymnastics has been unlike any other so far.
You would never know that Sophia is a freshman when she competes. She has this demeanor to her that is so calm, and she holds her finishes. That was a fabulous job for Sophia Groth.
And now here is Aaliyah Finnegan following up nothing lower than a 9.925 on floor. So the pressure has been taken off just a bit by those terrific 3 first floor routines. But Finnegan is making her collegiate debut here. You'd expect there to be some nerves running through. See how she handles them.
They're good nerves. This is exciting for her. And a huge Arabian double front into a jump.
Oh, wow. Did Auburn absolutely need this beam score coming in? A 9.95 for Sophia Groth. That makes up a little bit. This race just continues to tighten. It is anybody's meet. And one mistake could be the difference.
Randolph back handspring, 2.5 punch front, did go out of bounds there. That's the deduction that when it comes down to it, that could be it.
Could be, but again, this is the score that could be dropped. Didi, of course, you would imagine educating Kim Mulkey on exactly how many tenths are coming off right there with that step out.
Absolutely. That was a jam-packed floor routine for Aaliyah. Double Arabian into a stack jump, 2.5 twist into a punch front. A lot of difficulty, and just this is a moment for her to take back and say, all right, let's learn to control it, not get too excited. It's never a bad thing to have too much juice, but you gotta learn to control those landings and those body positions.
Okay, so at this point, nothing lower than a 9.875. 3 of those for Auburn on beam, and that 9.95 that Sophia Groth just put up. Now Gabby McLaughlin. A 9.925 for her last week, her 14th career start for the sophomore. McLaughlin followed by Lee. It's going to be Bryant, then Johnson on LSU's side of things on floor.
And Gabby with a beautiful combination, switch leap into a back handspring layout, step out, and you saw that front foot come off the beam. That is going to be a deduction.
Again, though, this is something that they, I don't want to say exactly can afford, but it does not put Auburn out of the meet by any means. And so the lead right now is a 0.5 tenth. LSU just in front of Auburn. It's going to come down to the final routine or two. Just stayed on, but of course, this is going to be the Tigers' routine to drop.
Another balance check. You saw her shoulders were going backwards. On balance beam, when you are sideways, those shoulders want to be right over the beam. Saves it. Does an excellent job saving it. risking that 5/10 deduction for a fall, but
for the Tigers,
not the routine that we know Gabby can do. And right here, switch leap into her back handspring layout, step out. That front foot just comes right off the beam.
But
she's able to get it back, and that's what's important. When those mistakes happen, these athletes have to be able to get it back and finish that routine as strong as they can.
There's a situation in the all-around, though. Haley Bryant could put a dent into Suni Lee's lead with a big routine. Bryant and then Kaya Johnson. You're talking about two All-Americans on floor to finish things off for LSU. And the SEC Freshman of the Year and the SEC Specialist of the Year at that.
This is a high-energy routine for Haley.
Okay, McLaughlin scores a 9.725. Absolutely will want to drop that with Suni Lee still to go for Auburn.
Switch ring into that switch half, showcasing her flexibility. Legs go over that 180 degree, which is where the judges are looking for leaps.
Auburn has still never beaten LSU in the last 7 tries.
Final pass. A massive front handspring double twist.
What do you say,
That was
Tiger
incredible.
fans?
That was, wow.
Dee Dee knows good gymnastics, and if you get the seal of approval from her, the 43-year head coach, you've done something right.
Haley starts things. Front handspring, double front, finishes with a front handspring double twist. Just for reference, that was a pass I started my routine with. And Haley Bryant finishes her routine with what I started it with. So just to put in comparison of the difficulty that she has and she brings to this floor lineup for LSU.
Absolutely incredible. We'll await the score for Haley Bryant, following up Aaliyah Finnegan's 9.8, hoping to drop that. And Suni Lee, who was one judge away from her first 10 coming on team last week. And a 9.95 for Haley Bryant. Okay, so Finnegan's 9.8 can still be dropped, and the pressure is squarely on the Olympic all-around gold medal.
Well, one thing's for sure, Suni is lovely. I mean, she is so precise on this event, and that is what you are looking for in this anchor position. The athletes that are so detail-oriented, and Suni is just that. Handspring, gainer fold, gets the stick. I didn't see a lot of deductions in that routine. I will be totally honest here. Everything was so smooth, all of her connections. That was fabulous. And finishes back handspring, gainer full off the side.
13,569.
Auburn wanted a great routine, and Suni said, no problem, I got you guys.
Suni also needed a 9.85 to lock up the all-around, and I got news for you, she just did it. Second largest crowd in program history here inside the PMAC. We were expecting a sellout, and we got it, and then some. What an environment for collegiate gymnastics.
And now,
waiting on Suni's score to see what Kaya Johnson needs. We were tied after 3 rotations, 48-2 for both teams. Kaya Johnson is making her season debut on floor. They were nursing a bit of a sore Achilles, but she is a regular season All-American on floor last year. Suni got another 9.975. So Auburn's final score is correct, 197.75.
Kaya debuting this season on an event that she loves. She is a performer out there. Big tumbling, energetic dance.
Kaya only needs a 9-8 for LSU to win the meet and defeat Auburn for the 7th straight time. Strong beam rotation for Auburn, though, 49.55. Just to put into perspective, 9-8, that ain't no thing for Kaya Johnson.
The performance quality that she has is unmatched. Double pike, right to that lunge. You saw both feet stayed on the ground. That's a stuck landing in the judges' eyes. And I think LSU has done it because that floor routine was
Kaya
amazing.
Johnson.
Auburn does salvage
For
the
the
individual
win!
all-around, though. That goes to Suni Lee. Didi and the rest of the PMAC urging the judges for a 10. What a way that would be to finish it off. She had a perfect 10 on floor at last year's SEC Championships. Oh, she did it! The third 10 of the meet!
And a well-deserved perfect 10 for Kaya Johnson coming in the lineup. This is her first time competing on floor exercise this season and starts it out with a bang, perfect 10.
Could you ask for a better afternoon of gymnastics? 197.975, shattering their previous season high of 196.95. LSU over Auburn. The crown goes to Kaya Johnson. She reigns and closes out this meet exactly how we expected and we've come to know with Kaya Johnson on floor.
I mean, she is excellent. Look at her find those landings. She fights to keep those feet on the ground in her lunge. Head coach Jay Clark, he is pumped. The whole PMAC was excited for that one.
As the Fighting Tigers gymnastics program has just earned.
But for Auburn, it can certainly be smiles with a huge road score for Jeff Graba's crew. 197.75, tying their best meet score of all
all
time.
the nation.
Gymnastics has swept through the plains, and I think the Tigers are only going to continue to get better. But LSU tends to step up to its environment, exactly what they did here in Baton Rouge. Mutual respect between Jay Clark and Jeff Graba, and we'll come back and wrap things up in just a moment from Louisiana. Smiles for LSU defeating Auburn for the 7th straight time, but two outstanding teams in a great meet. 197.975 for LSU to Auburn's 197.75. Alex Perlman, Bridget Sloan back with you one last time. I mean, Bridget, we're still trying to catch our breaths with that finish. It was tied going into the third rotation, and LSU absolutely showed out on floor.
LSU definitely showed out on floor, but we can't forget Auburn on balance beam showing up also. And one thing that Auburn should take away from this meet, they were able to bounce back. They had some routines on floor, on beam that weren't quite perfect, but it didn't phase them in the overall performance. And that is what coaches are looking for. They're looking for these athletes to bounce back no matter what. Go out there, do your thing. Auburn, LSU, you both accomplished that today.
Auburn's not-so-secret weapon, Suni Lee, winning the all-around with a 39.825. She's now 2 for 2 in terms of the all-around. And how about this for a start, Bridget? A perfect 10, her first ever.
Again, I'm not sure how you don't give that bar routine a perfect 10 and then takes it to vault. Huge Yurchenko full. I mean, head coach Jeff Graba said she's really feeling her training. She's in control of herself, and you see that when she competes, finding the love for gymnastics once again in a different way, in that collegiate NCAA way, which is so exciting. And as a former elite, I know that feeling, and that is what you want to see.
Closing it out with all the pressure on her, Auburn still in the meet. A 9.975, just one judge away from being her second 10 in the exact same meet. And hugs all around. These gymnasts absolutely know each other too. Livy Dunn, Aaliyah Finnegan training for the USA program. I mean, what more can you say about what Suni Lee has done for college gymnastics?
I really don't know how to explain what she is doing, and I don't even know if she knows what the impact she is having, because the exposure that Auburn is getting right now, that all of NCAA is getting right now, is just amazing. I love that she was able to compete in the Olympic Games, win the Olympic Games, and then transition into college. And she did say it's been a little difficult, but you see right there, she's getting into herself. She's getting into her own at Auburn and doing a fabulous job.
LSU, though, putting up a huge score, just missing out on that 198, but by far a season high, and it's great to see that Jay Clark's team was able to rebound. They had those COVID issues at the beginning of the season. They are back, and the exact same LSU Tigers that we have come to know and love here in the PMAC. Suni Lee with her first collegiate 10, only just one highlight. We saw 3 of them in this meet. How about Kaya Johnson, who threw it down? Haley Bryan had one more as well. Thanks so much for joining us. Along with Bridget Sloan, I'm Alex Perlman saying so long from Baton Rouge. LSU over Auburn. What a meet.
Kaya